Hey, headed to the wedding?
Of my sister? Yes, I am.
So where's your fiance? Wait, is this him? Hey, I'm Ben. I was her hall pass on your break.
Wow, you are a child.
It's a pretty long flight. Do you want anything from the front of the boat?
I'm all good on creatine and smell thick insecurity.
Nothing small about me. What the?
I like a good rom-com as much as the next guy, but you have to agree that there haven't been very many good ones during the dark age of cinema in the last 10 to 15 years. There hasn't really been anything as captivating as Notting Hill, Love Actually, or Friends with Benefits in a long while. Imagine my surprise when I happened to catch this flick in a back-to-back double feature after The Boys in the Boat. But was Anyone But You a diamond in the rough? Or is it just another generic movie? And what are the so-called journalists in the mainstream media saying about this movie? Join me, dear viewer, as I dive deep into the world of rom-coms. Anyone But You, starring Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney, brings us the classic opposites attract story trope. While I can't say there is anything new or innovative about this film, it does carry with it certain qualities that make it a great rom-com. First things first, I have to dispense with the obvious. My boy Glenn Powell is one charming mofo, and I'm a big fanboy. This guy has been quietly and diligently working his way up and has been in some real bangers throughout his career. Powell has been in Everybody Wants Some, Devotion, Hidden Figures, and Top Gun Maverick. He's got comedic timing and charm, which he developed throughout, and even has some rom-com chops as he starred in 2018's Set It Up, where he played opposite the equally charming and quirky Zoe Deutsch. Alright, enough about my man crush already. But what about the story? Anyone But You is a simple story of opposites attracting through circumstance. Glenn Powell plays Ben, who meets Sydney Sweeney's B, and they spend a great night talking and connecting. After which, B slides out of his apartment for her stride of pride. That's right, kids. It's no longer the walk of shame. It's the stride of pride. Wear it proudly, kids. Ben overhears B saying she's not interested. But through happenstance, their two friends get engaged and the pair are invited to the wedding weekend in sunny Australia. When Ben's ex-girlfriend and B's ex-boyfriend show up, they have to pretend to be together in order to win back their ex-lover's attention. On top of that, some of the family members work to try to make sure they end up together. Hilarity ensues. The one thing that makes a rom-com a great rom-com is the chemistry between the primary pair. In films like Notting Hill, Friends with Benefits, When Harry Met Sally, and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, the chemistry between the characters made the film, despite very simple story and plot lines. For example, in Friends with Benefits, Justin Timberlake and Mila Kunis had undeniable chemistry together. Timberlake was charming, witty, and funny, while Kunis played off of his personality like two pieces in a puzzle that ended up fitting. Like Timberlake and Kunis, Powell and Sweeney have a very similar dynamic. The film's director and producers recognized that they needed to reproduce the chemistry between characters like Friends with Benefits, and succeeded by casting the very charming, witty, and funny Glenn Powell that worked really well opposite the equally cute, witty Sweeney. Anyone But You suffers from the same problem as most successful movies as of late. The so-called journalists and the mainstream media seem to all be suffering from the woke mind virus. If a movie doesn't have a political or progressive pandering message and agenda, they dock major points. But audiences are the exact opposite. Audiences don't want progressive woke agendas in their films, and they tend to reward films that don't fall into this trap. The key films of the last few years that were wildly successful, such as Top Gun Maverick, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Covenant, Across the Spider-Verse, and Oppenheimer, all focused on both story and character development instead of lazy writing tropes such as race and gender swapping or having overtly inappropriate and unwanted woke messaging. Likewise, Anyone But You does have a lesbian couple getting married, but they are not the primary focus of the film. In fact, the relationship between Hallie and Claudia was extremely well done. Alexandra Shipp and Hadley Robinson deliver a believable, cute, and charming performance as the lesbian couple. Gata and Dermot Mulroney add to the charm and comedic elements of the film as well. So it turns out that you can have a movie with a diverse and inclusive cast. You just have to have a good story, good character development, and good chemistry between the actors, and audiences will reward you for that. A common misconception about YouTube's film critics is that we hate representation, diversity, and inclusion. We don't. We absolutely don't. But when films cram in races and genders where they don't belong, on top of not having a good story with good character development, audiences don't respond to that. And we in the YouTube community call them out on it. It's not diversity that we have a problem with, it's bad writing, bad stories, and bad character development. What makes the character development in Anyone But You pretty good is the fact that each character grows and evolves throughout the story. Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney each grow as people. Powell's character learns that he was chasing after the wrong thing with his ex, and that his deeper connection with Bea was what he was looking for all along. Sweeney's character, on the other hand, accepts who she is and finds herself and her calling, while also growing into an emotionally mature woman who doesn't run away from good things. Overall, Anyone But You was a very enjoyable romantic comedy. It resembles the successful rom-coms of the past and avoids woke messaging and bad writing. While it's ultimately a very simple story of opposites attract, the characters portrayed by Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney are what make the movie great. The undeniable chemistry between Powell and Sweeney is what makes this rom-com stand out in a sea of garbage movies. It's also in that no man's land of not being an indie film, nor a massive $200 million blockbuster. It was refreshing to see this mid-range movie succeed. If you weren't able to catch it in theaters, worry not. Anyone But You will be released on demand streaming on January 23rd. But what are your thoughts on this? Did you enjoy Anyone But You? And do you think the age of the great rom-com is returning once again? Please do let me know down below in the comments. And as always, hit that like button, ring that notification bell, and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.